Good morning, Mayor and colleagues. Mayor, you had mentioned the point about the trucks, right? Having trucks from different stations having to go across town. And so
EMS, primary ambulance.
excuse me, EMS, really good point. And so that's also my interest in terms of what was negotiated, because we know we have limited infrastructure. We need to invest in our stations. What is the exchange in terms of, are we moving from a 3 to a 4 shift? Are we investing in our trucks? Like, I'm curious on what the city is receiving, because those are the questions that I'm receiving. I'm glad to know that the questions will be answered. My understanding is that the tentative agreement was signed on March 3rd. So if the agreement was signed on March 3rd, we're several weeks in between and there's been no public discussion. I'm also curious of the tentative partners, and if the city's position was to engage the partners and to cover a portion of the fee. When I see large amounts, the settlement bond, in addition to moving to 34%, a 10-6-6-6-6 over 5 years, when by practice we're issuing 2 or 3 year contracts. We have not yet had our 5-year financial plan. We've not yet had a BFA meeting. So there are a lot of things that are in the air. You know, at one point, there was a fee on the table to charge Houstonians after 6 p.m. parking on city streets, right? We pulled that. Right? I mean, you make grimace, but the reality is that if there's not a revenue stream and we are having a 34% increase over 5 years, not considering municipal workers, not considering HPOU, not considering a disaster that may come and blow through this city, if we draw down on our fund balance to pay the $160 million gap that's been noted by the finance director, what is the vulnerability of the city? Those are the questions that are not answered. That full financial plan, so we can make the very valid vote at the table when it comes here. To Mayor Pro Tem's point, we're voting on if we financially have the capability to carry this debt. So I think in plain English, we have to tell the residents that it's separate of the bond, right? The back pay, which I think we all realize that we have to invest in our firefighters and acknowledge that gap of time. But moving forward, when we have not had those other inputs in terms of departments and what we're willing to negotiate, are we going to fee Houstonians? Is it a trash fee? Are we paying for parking after 6? Are we going after Metro's money? What are we doing? What are our options so we can make the very best decision? And that's the intent and the genesis of those questions. And if that's been negotiated privately, of course, we'll have that offline. But I think there's some public information that needs to be shared, because there's a lot of confusion.
Very good.